Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We are glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce. Sarah Masoni is still out for a bit, but we are here bringing you news of all these wonderful businesses. We've been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from our 6-state region. We're currently meeting with business owners from the great state of Wyoming. I'd like to welcome my co-host today, Melissa Hemken. She is a community food systems specialist and Wyoming co-lead of the USDA Northwest Regional Food Business Center. Hello, Melissa. Welcome.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you. Yeah. Saying hello to you from the Cowboy State. What is Oregon's nickname?
Oh,
Oh, you
I should probably know.
Oh, I guess I figured you knew what that was. Okay, yeah, well, Wyoming's known either the Cowboy State or the Equality State. But generally it's the Cowboys, the bucking horse and all that.
Gosh, I feel like I would Google it, but then I'd have to be not looking at you guys, and you know what I was doing. If Sarah was here, she would know. I've lived here my whole life. I probably knew at one point, but my brain at this point makes way for new information. So instead, I probably have some sauce recipe memorized, but I don't know what our state is.
Yeah, well, my dad says of that he looks to the future. He's not stuck in the past when he can't remember something. So there you go. You're just looking towards the future.
That's it. Thanks for understanding me. Well, I'm really glad that you are bringing us all these great new friends from Wyoming. Any Wyoming things to tell us about or things you're excited about or that are going on in the state right now?
Oh, let's see. It's spring and we're getting a green Wyoming this year. Wyoming is a semi-arid, high altitude climate. So sometimes we get really dry and we don't have a lot of rain. But this year we've had quite a bit of rainfall this spring after some snow this winter. And so it's been great to see lots of wildflowers in green come up. Of course, we have irrigation for crops and things like that, but the mountains aren't always green. Sometimes they're kind of brown, which is bad for wildfire season. So it's nice to see lots of green and moisture coming in.
I know we get a lot of wildfires here and we're currently having a lot of rain, and that's kind of what usually you have people sort of complaining about the rain, but right now everyone's just like, nope, it's okay. It's going to help with wildfire season. So you hear this kind of positive spin on it, which I don't know if that's good or not, but it's just what you're hearing these days, which is okay. Hopefully we have less wildfires and more blossoming gardens from all the rain. That fingers crossed, that's how our year goes here in Oregon.
Absolutely. And my garlic has been loving it. And how I met our guest today was through mutual love of garlic. I met her at a farmer's market, which is the best place to meet people.
That's where I meet all of my favorite friends.
Me too.
Let me read our quick ad and then we'll bring on our guests. So we would like to encourage you to connect with your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. You can just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. We want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's national network of food business centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I'm going to bring on our wonderful guest that Melissa mentioned. We're going to bring out Jenefer Tynsky, owner of Black Gold Jelly Garlic, making handcrafted syrups and sauces with black garlic. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad that you're on the show today. We always like to first off connect our listeners to you on social media and online. So what's the best way for people to find you?
They can go to our website at www.blackgoldjellycompany.com. And on there, we have our products as well as information on wellness benefits of our products.
Perfect. We kind of like to start at the beginning with what inspired you to start Black Gold Jelly Company. But before we even get there, I want to just back it up and have you talk about what black garlic is, because we may have listeners that might not know. So let's start there.
That is a question that I get asked a lot of, and I do have a little prop with me. So this is our black garlic. So as you can see, everything that is white is now black. And inside, you're going to find this very, very sticky, very gooey substance. Show it to you there. You see that okay?
Well, we can see it, but our listeners won't be able to. Okay. So just describing it is great. So you're doing a great job of visually describing it.
So I've pulled apart a piece of this black garlic bulb. Inside, the garlic is gone from a solid white color and firm to a very, very sticky, almost squishy like tar kind of a substance. So what we do with how we get this way is we take about 80 pounds of white garlic and we put it in our special machine and we ferment it. So it goes on an 8-week fermentation cycle. Yes, you can do it for less time. We have found that for the consistency that we like it at and what we use it for, that the 8 weeks is our best kind of production of it. Black garlic is actually better for you than white garlic because the alkaline that is in there is elevated. So it has a higher antioxidant property than it does raw. You can take black garlic for things like cholesterol. It'll help regulate that cholesterol. You can take it for just building your immune system. It's also a prebiotic. So once you start using it, you'll find that it helps break down that food that is in your belly and helps you process it a lot easier than you did before. We have a product that we call a shot a day that has black garlic, ginger, honey, and elderberry syrup. And it's 1 tablespoon a day. You take it. And we designed that product for cancer patients who are coming out of chemo and radiation so that we could encourage them to try more natural ways to recover from being sick. Now, a lot of cancer doctors don't like that because they want you on their $1,000 a week shot, which we thought was just outrageous. So we do have medical results on it. We have doctors who refer their patients to us to purchase black garlic from us. And we have it in, you can eat the bulbs. We also have a tincture you can take, or else you can use it we have it in our sauces. So all of our sauces that we produce have black garlic in it for that health benefit that we're looking for. So it can be a daily treat for you to have instead of just going, oh, I got to eat garlic. Dang it. You know, you can enjoy it.
And Jenefer, I always struggle to explain what black garlic tastes like? If you just ate it straight, like how do you explain that to people?
It is a completely unique flavor because your first thought is white garlic. Okay, this is going to be pungent, it's going to be strong, and that's what's going to happen. And you put this in your mouth and it's not firm, it's squishy, or we put it in a paste or whatever you want to do with it. Honestly, it's if you've ever eaten like a caramelized garlic clove where you roast it in your oven for a little while, I think it has some of that sweet flavor like you'd have if you put olive oil or some seasonings on it. There's just no way to describe it.
I've struggled as well.
It's going to be sweet. You're not going to. It's going to be strong, and you're going to be like, this is not garlic, because that's your first instinct when you put it in your mouth is this doesn't taste like garlic. I think maybe kind of like molasses, only a little bit stronger than molasses would be a good comparison to it, because molasses is just boiled down beet. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but I think everybody has their own opinion. I have been told that it smells like a gas leak when I'm cooking because my house has such a pungent smell. It's in our kitchen. We actually had some guests come down, and we took them over to the house to show them around. And our friend, she's like, "What is that smell?" Well, it's kind of what we do here. We've got a lot of garlic going on.
Well, thanks for describing what black garlic is. And now that you've done that, let's talk about your journey as a business owner. So when did you start the business and what inspired you to start Black Gold Jelly Co.?
It was a complete fluke. I had a friend who was opening up an aquaponics facility, and he brought me some black garlic and he said, "What can you do with this?" And I had never heard of it. I had no idea what I was going to do with it. So I just kind of put it in the fridge and double zip locked it, because otherwise your whole entire existence of everything in your fridge is black garlic. I have a garden outside, and I was canning one day, making up some jellies. And I thought, gosh, I wonder what that'd be like in a jelly, because people put all kinds of crazy things in jelly anymore. So I did. And the next morning I got my little jar out. We just made little 4-ounce jars just to try it out. I had 12 of them. Put it on my bread and butter with my eggs and bacon, and I was so excited. And I took a bite of my toast, and I thought that was the worst thing I've ever eaten in my whole life. Now I have 12 bottles of crap that I've got to do something with. And then I thought, everything's good with bacon, so we'll see what it's like with the bacon. And I dipped my bacon in it, and that was when I knew. It was like, wait a minute, that's like the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And so I put it in lunch, and the guy who brought me the garlic, he works with my boyfriend, and I said, take this back to him, let him try it. And he came to me and he said, that's the most amazing stuff ever, and I want to sell it in the wellness center here. And I thought, well, okay. So we started out with 12 bottles, 11 after the sampler, and it just started to sell. And my brother, during this process, was diagnosed with renal failure. So he can't have any sodium, no salt, no nothing. He could have all the sugar he wanted, but no sodium. So we started creating new flavors. Our original was the black garlic, and then we went to a black garlic jalapeno, and then to a pineapple jalapeno. And from there, I think we have 20 flavors by now. If we see a new fruit or something that we've never tried before, we try to throw it out there and see what happens with it. Last year, we experimented with a fruit called a lemon plum, and it comes from Chile. It's one fruit, and it looks just like a lemon before it ripens, and then it turns into this really bright red plum, but it has a little bit more of a citrus flavor to it. And so we made a little sauce out of that. And we find people who are vegan, who can't have gluten, whey, soy, sodium, so many things. And our product allows them to be able to eat and still like it. That was my brother's biggest problem. He was, I got to have seasonal on everything. And without seasonal, he was really struggling to find eating enjoyable again. And so we've been making these products, and he smokes his fish with it. He puts it in his wild game. It's just something that has replaced that sugar craving. And part of that is our one of our bases is vinegar. Vinegar is a good sodium replacement. It helps curb that craving for sodium.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are, gosh, I just need a snack. Okay, let's get some summer sausage, some cheese, a little fruit, a little sauce. There you go. You have all your ingredients for a nice healthy snack, and you don't have to worry about, gosh, does this have 850 milligrams of sodium in it? Am I going to have a heart attack from eating this kind of thing? So that really is what led us to making these products. We have a gal that works for us who inspired our shot a day. She had just come through leukemia. She was really struggling. Her white blood cell count was 0. Her doctors said, okay, well, we're going to give you this shot, $1,000 a week. She took the shot once and she was sick for 2 weeks. So that's when I said, no, let's create a product. And we did. And we watched it go from 0 all the way back to normal. Her doctors were stunned at how quickly her white blood cell count and her immune system rebound after going through all this chemo treatment. And she told them what she was taking, and they, just, okay, that's great. But she panicked in her 5th week because they did not call her. Now, every day for 2 years, this woman has gotten a call from the Huntsman Cancer Center down in Salt Lake City, Utah, to let her know what her test results are. Well, they didn't call her, and she panicked and called her doctor and said, why do you call me? And they said, we only call when your test results are bad. And she's just gone through her first 6 months cancer-free and doesn't anticipate any problems, and everything's looking great for her. So those kind of people really inspire my story or my creativity. I also have lupus, so I have a special kind of funness with my own body, and I find that with the black garlic, my immune system is stronger. I can go out in public and I feel safe about being out in public because I know that I'm doing things to encourage my immune system to do the healthy thing. Where a lot of people, I don't know, for me, they get so wrapped up in what a doctor can do for you. And I've been there. I've done that. I've gone down the whole walk of life kind of deal with my medical issues. Been coded, brought back to life, given a year to live, weighed 85 pounds. But I was on 23 different medications. And when I started doing this, and the gentleman who cooks my garlic for me, he has his aquaponics facility, and he started business with lion's mane and microgreens. So adding those two things with the black garlic on a daily basis has just changed everything about my life and how I look at things when I go to a grocery store. Well, my brother's doctor had said, watch for things that say heart healthy. Things that are heart healthy do not mean that it's good for you. So like a can of tomato soup, a heart healthy, has like 428 grams of sodium for every 2 tablespoons, I think is what it is. So it really, people don't understand that. They're thinking, oh, sugar's going to kill you. Sugar's going to kill you. It's not just sugar. It's sugar and sodium and microplastics and the crap people put on our food that really affect how we live and what happens to our bodies. So that's how my journey began. And as crazy as it is, I never in my wildest dreams thought about a business like this, or even knew that it was on my horizons in my life at any point in time. So we have a lot of great customers, the die-hard loyals that they own every flavor, always want a new flavor. So we're always trying to keep up with that demand of putting something new out there for them to mix and match with their meals.
I noticed that you like to get creative with all of your flavors, and it even leads you to developing different products. It looks like you
Yes.
have a summer sausage that you do with another local producer. And then I'm also very interested in hearing more about this dill pickle syrup. So can you tell us about those things?
The dill pickle syrup. Yes, yes, yes. So we co-produce summer sausages with a rancher out of Lone Tree, Wyoming, Beck Ranch, and they do a Black Angus grass-fed, grass-finished beef. They wait longer than what most ranchers would butcher for a grass-fed, grass-finished beef, which allows the meat to mature so that it's not tough. We then take it, they bring it to me here in Rock Springs, and we deliver it to Gillette, and they make our sausages with our sauce in it. So there's no nitrates, no GMO, and no MSGs in it. So when people say, oh, I can't have processed meats, you can say, actually, you can have this because all those things that affect you negatively have been taken out from it. Beck Ranch is currently working on building their own processing facility right now. And we're hoping that by the first part of July that it'll be up and running, and we'll be starting to smoke our sausages and things down there a little bit closer to us, because Gillette is about 7 hours away from where I'm at. So the track between here and there is quite long. Our USDA butchers have their hands full right now. I know that they were telling me that their process time, you have to book out for like a year with some of these USDA processors. So it's nice that we're going to have another facility and one that's so close to us. Now, the dill pickle sauce. I had a very good friend. She was pregnant and she ate pickles before. I've always known that. It was no big deal. And she said, I need a pickle sauce. And I said, well, don't you just drink your pickle juice? She said, yes, but I need some substance with my pickle juice. And I really wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. So we took pickle brine and added our black garlic to it. And by golly, we got a sauce out of it. And everybody's like, ooh, what would you use that for? And let me tell you that some of the things that we come up with, we have a customer who her husband makes jerky with it, just a dill pickle jerky. We have another lady that she makes gravy out of it. And I don't know all the ingredients to it. I just know that her husband loves it. And she has celiac disease, so she has to be kind of careful about what she eats as well. Deviled eggs, potato salad. We have a recipe out now that is our Sloppy Joe recipe, which combines two of our flavors, which is our Lion's Mane bourbon sauce and our dill pickle sauce together. Most of our sauces are interchangeable, so sometimes I use our red onion Marconi and the dill pickle. It just really depends, but if you're a dill pickle lover, from what I understand, you can just go around drinking the bottle and it'll curb that craving for you right away. So
I love that. It's a perfect example of listening to what your customer wants, but then also creating something that other people want as well. Pickles are a big craving for many people.
And I never even thought about it. And after we made it, there was a Popeye's chicken. They have a full dill pickle kind of dill pickle chicken, dill pickle fries, dill pickle sauce. I don't know what they put in their sauce, but it's not our sauce. Not yet. So it's kind of funny because we were just flabbergasted at what people were using it for, how they were mixing it up and smoking their meats with it. One of the things that we have found, so when we make our summer sausages, people say we want more of your flavor in the sausage. We would love to do that. However, black garlic is a prebiotic and it breaks down meat. It breaks down food. So if we over put too much sauce into our summer sausages, they don't seal in the casings. They won't cook because it has broken down the meat particles so much that it won't keep a form to it. So that's, we've kind of had to play with things here and there, and we just find new and fun ways to make our day interesting. One of my helpers said it's kind of like going to work in a mad scientist's office. I never know what I'm going to do in a daytime. we've made butter. We went through a whole phase where we made homemade butters and put our sauces in the homemade butters, and which is great. And eventually we'll probably just continue on down that line. But we had a cream shortage where we couldn't get fresh cream for quite a while. So we decided that we'd hold off until our farmers and ranchers could keep up with us. Was that a cat I just saw?
Yeah, sorry.
Melissa has a
tail.
co-host today, her
Yes.
cat co-host.
That's funny.
That's Connie, if you want to be introduced to her.
That's so cute.
Jennifer, one thing I've been thinking about this spring, because it seems like spring when you have a garden or a farm or a ranch, you get really busy. And I've been trying to be like, okay, I need to become more focused. I need to do less things.
Yes.
Doing too much at once. Have you ever felt like you had too many different things going on and thought about like doing less? Or are your customers like, no, we want you to keep being the mad scientist kitchen?
Well, they love it when I'm the mad scientist, but yeah, of course, you just think of all the things that you can do with our products. So we have made pies and breads, butters, jerkies, our summer sausages, and it gets overwhelming because people are like, oh, you know what, you should make bread and put the sauce in it and sell it. And, so you want to get them to try to make those things for themselves. One of the reasons that we started the butter fetish was because one of the things I recommend is when you're cooking the meat, take fresh butter, mix your sauce into it, and then put it on your meats for cooking, And so it was just kind of one of those things like, well, if we just take that whole process out, you just buy the stick of butter with the sauce already in it, it's very simple to use.
Convenient. Customers like convenience.
Yes, very, very convenient. However, it's very, very time consuming. Funny story, Miss Wyoming, Mrs. Wyoming, was at an event with us a couple years back. And her family had come up to me. She wasn't with them. And her children and her husband were trying all my sauces, and they were just loving and having a great experience. And then Mrs. Wyoming walked up. And just as she walked up, her son said to me, could you come to my house and cook for us all the time? Now, I didn't want to say yes or no or anything because I didn't know, I'm like, this is Mrs. Wyoming. She's got to be the cook of all cooks. I can't just be stepping on her shoes. And he looked at me and he goes, no, really, could you come and cook for us all the time? And I said, your mom's right behind you. And he goes, I know. And I said, well, how about this? You buy this sauce and you follow this recipe and it's going to taste exactly like what I make. And from that point on, we decided that we had to have recipes for people because people say, what do you do with this? I don't know how to use this. It tastes so good at the show, but I'm so scared to ruin something. And we've just gotten to the point where we're like, if you think in your mind that it might taste good, add it. Doesn't matter what you're cooking, just try it. My daughter-in-law has a catering business, and that's her full philosophy is they try it. My granddaughter is addicted to blueberry serrano fettuccine alfredo.
Wow.
I know it sounds totally bizarre. We were at a show and she had ordered some fettuccine alfredo and she said it was the most boring tasting thing she'd ever put in her mouth. So she grabbed a bottle of our blueberry serrano syrup and threw that in her Alfredo, and yeah, she was in love. She had to have her own special bottle so that when she went out and had Alfredo that she could make blueberry serrano Alfredo.
Very fun.
So like I said, originality, it comes. It's one of those things.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to hear about what flavor tells your story best. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together.
I always like to ask people this question. So, which product or flavor tells your story best to your customers?
I'm going to say our apple cider syrup. So we have an apple cider syrup. It's made with apples, pears, cinnamon, and our black garlic and vinegar. People take ACV for their gut every single day. They think, oh, I'll take this gummy. This is good. Or I'll just drink from this vinegar bottle and chase it with some water. We'll call it a day. And it really freaked me out for a long time. But with our apple cider vinegar syrup, it's very simple for people to use. It's one of our easiest. They can put it on ice cream. They can put it in butter for their waffles or pancakes in the morning. But they can also take and drink it, a tablespoon a day of it, for their ACV gut health. Now, you're not just getting apple cider vinegar gut health, you're getting black garlic prebiotic, you're getting cinnamon, which helps regulate the blood pressure and your blood sugars. So there's a lot of different things that we can do with our sauces, but I think that one in itself is probably my go-to, my fan favorites, next to the dill pickle sauce.
That's very fun.
The main way I've experienced with black garlic is with chocolate. So
Yes.
I grow quite a bit of garlic, and that's how I met Jenefer at a farmer's market. But I just tried to start making it myself this winter, and she was helpfully providing me tips when I gave her samples at a farmer's market. But I've mainly done some fudge sauce with it. And I tried a chocolate black garlic ice cream, but I didn't get my consistency right. I marbled in the black garlic paste with the chocolate ice cream, but it was too strong when you hit the marbling of the black garlic. I think I need to combine the black garlic paste with the chocolate and put it in the cream. Anyways, I've been more on the sweet dessert side with my experiences with black garlic.
We have lots of those. I have a lady who uses the apple cider one to make pumpkin rolls for the holidays. We used it to make pumpkin pies last year. But I have another lady, I think she has one of every flavor, and she makes hard candies, chocolates out of them. So she actually makes little tiny, what was the one that she gave to me last time? We have a cherry maple syrup, and I think that she made a cherry maple little mints, chocolate mints for us with it. So chocolate and black garlic, people are like, what? Why are you putting garlic with chocolate? That's a sin, but because of its sweetness, because of its texture, I think that it really brings out the other flavors that you're putting it with. So I think it enhances that cocoa or that chocolate that you're using. I am not a candy, as far as making candies myself or fudges, but she claims that it is her go-to favorite. She is down in Littlefield, Arizona, and does farmers markets down there. And she says that she just sells out of her black garlic chocolates that she makes up.
Sarah, have you ever tried it in one of your hot sauces, like a black garlic hot sauce?
Well, we have a version of it. I've never made black garlic, but we have a salt producer here. Jacobson Salt is from here in Portland, and our kitchens were next to each other. So one time I stored some boxes where they made their black garlic. So when you were talking about the smell of your kitchen, I know exactly what you're talking about, because when I asked to use some of their production space, they were like, well, you can use this space for free, the storage space, but everything's going to smell like black garlic. I was like, I don't care. It's fine. But then when I didn't realize what I was saying yes to, because then when I went to pick up the boxes, I was like, oh, wow, this is very strong. But it was fine. It was just like things that we ship, sauces to grocery stores. So it's like in the back anyway. So it was not a big deal, but I'm glad I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to move my clothing closet into your storage space, because that would have been a not very good decision. But I have done some little side projects where they use that black garlic to infuse salt. And then I've used that salt in some of our we do these monthly market specials where we'll just do something for a little while. And so we've done that before, and that was really fun. But it is one of those things where you are very appreciative of somebody like you taking on the process of fermenting that black garlic, because it's not something that I would want to do in the kitchen.
So when we started, I was doing it in my home, and I had just redone my kitchen, my cabinets, and my stove. And after almost 10 months of it, I ruined my stove. Not a cheap stove either. It was one of the new air fryer units that cost, $2,500. And so I was quite distressed over the fact that my new stove was ruined and everything in my house smelled like black garlic. So people couldn't even come into my home. My son walked in one day and he said, "I'm crying." I'm like, why, what's wrong? He goes, "Because your house is just so terrible. I can't even tell you what it smells like in here." And I'm like, well, it's kind of one of those things. So when we have a little house that's right next door to our home that we purchased as a rental to rent it out, and just decided that it was best to use an old stove in an old house that I make more money out of it doing what I do than I would renting it and having to worry about renters all the time. So it made it very nice to leave my smell there and to be able to come home. But it's funny when I go into a vendor store or something and I've been cooking that day, they know right away. They're like, "Oh, she has been cooking. I can smell it. What have you been making today?" And I just forget. You become normalized to it. It's just a smell that I don't really notice. It doesn't really bother me. But my niece came for a visit for the first time last month, and she walked into the house and she said, "You're going to kill me. I can't be in this space." I'm like, "What? You don't want to work for me and kill all this garlic and smell like this every single day?" And she said, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, that's how our home is too. We live upstairs and we make all of our hot sauce downstairs, and we don't really notice that it smells like sauce. But then people come over and they're like, they'll like start coughing. And I mean, I have a daughter. You would think that she would be, but she's just used to it. Like anybody that comes over my family, they're all used to it. But when we have people that haven't been over before, they are very much like, "It is spicy in here. It smells like they can't breathe. We have to open all the windows." And like, we just are so used to it. We're like, "We don't know what you're talking about."
We also make fresh horseradish. We make a horseradish syrup, and there's not anybody around us that really makes fresh horseradish. So we decided that we would do fresh horseradish along with our horseradish syrup. Reason being, because some people like it's so spicy that it burns their face off. And what we do, we call white girl friendly, meaning most white people can eat it without too much scare or fear that you're going to have that burn in your face or the heartburn that goes along with it, or worse, what happens the next day after you eat really spicy foods. So white girl friendly is kind of our motto for things. But I have a gentleman who just takes the raw horseradish, and will just eat it like he's having a midsummer's day treat. Gets a spoon out and just goes to town with it. So we decided that it was best to make raw horseradish and then our syrup. And then if they wanted it more horseradish, they could add that horseradish into their sauce or into whatever they're spicing up in their life. So we find all kinds of crazy things. Like when we first started doing it, I ever said, run your horseradish under water. When you're peeling it, it'll help. We did an event where I cooked our two spiciest. Well, I cooked horseradish, and then I cooked what we have is a lion's mane bourbon sauce. And by the time I was done on my 2-day cook-off, my face was swollen so badly you couldn't see my eyes. So we've had to get masks and protective gear so that it can't go anywhere up in your face. And you just kind of think about those smells. It's horseradish. Who cares? Well, for some people, just the smell of horseradish can be overpowering to them. And people ask me all the time, "Well, why did you pick horseradish?" Well, I hate horseradish. Not my gig, but it's my boyfriend's. And so I decided to try making a sauce with it to where both of us could be happy when I'm making something with horseradish. I never thought that it would be one of my favorites to use. So I use that. I'll mix the horseradish and my dill pickle and my red onion Marconi pepper sauce together, all three of them, and put them on a steak or on a smoked chicken or whatnot. But people ask me why horseradish. Well, it's good for you. People don't realize that horseradish actually has health benefits that, besides burning your face off, making wasabi, fake wasabi, shall we say. That's what we get in Wyoming is fake wasabi.
Yeah, Jenefer, where do you source all your ingredients? You and I have
Yep.
talked about garlic and how you source that, but are you able to source locally raised horseradish?
Yes, actually we are. We have a patch growing out front and we go out and harvest from there. We do have a large supplier. So if we were to have an amazingly huge order come in for horseradish or horseradish syrup, we can order it. And we order a grade 2 root, meaning it's hot, but not as hot can be. The ones that we have here seem to be pretty hot. We don't water them necessarily. We call them the angry root. So, because the less you water them, the meaner and hotter they get.
That's
So
perfect for Wyoming and our dry climate then.
yes, exactly. And we do the same thing with our red onions for our red onion Marconi pepper sauce. Our jalapenos and our Marconis are grown in our aquaponics facility here in Rock Springs. He also grows the lion's mane and the microgreens. So he grows we have a chocolate mint for our mint jelly. And he grows, what else does he grow for us? He's growing our dill for this summer because we can't seem to keep up with dill pickle sauce and the need for it. Our berries come out of Colorado. We are working with some other companies up in Gillette, Wyoming, who have access to fruit and berry pickers from our state. And we are hoping to get huckleberries, blueberries, wild blueberries, some raspberries, and elderberries this year locally from the state of Wyoming. So we try to keep everything as in-house as we can. And you're going to be providing us with all of our beautiful garlic. I'm so excited. Yes, totally excited for that experience. Yes.
Well, we always like to send people to you directly to purchase from you. So for our listeners out of state, I'm guessing that would be online. So let's give people that information and then how to come find you if they want to meet you in person, if that's a possibility, and stores they can go to.
They can go to our website, to the www.blackgoldjellycompany.com. On there, you'll find most of our products, but there are a few that we don't put on there. Some of our new ones aren't on there quite yet. But we have a calendar on there and it'll tell you where we're going to be, how long we're going to be there for, and come out and visit us. If we go to a state, we try to make sure that we find a couple people to leave a bottle or two with on our journeys. Matter of fact, our son is in Portland, Oregon.
No, yay.
He's a chiropractor up there. And so we are trying to get with him in his new facility to start a pitch run out of the chiropractic office in your area.
Very
so
cool.
We have a list of vendors and where you can find them. So if you're driving through the state, you can always stop in one of the stores and pick it up. And if you want something, if you're in the area where I'm at, our customers in the Sweetwater County can order something and I will personally deliver it out to them so that I get a chance to meet with them and help them understand what's happening with the product, what they can do with it, answer any questions they have. On our website, there's a little box that'll come up and say, chat with us. And you can go on there and send me a message and we'll reply back and get you any information that you might need.
So great. Well, it was really fun to hear all the wonderful things you're doing. I think you're doing great things to help your community, both health-wise and flavor-wise. It's really fun to meet you and chat with you today. Melissa, thanks for joining me and co-hosting the show and bringing this wonderful guest to chat with our listeners.
Oh, you're very welcome. I love anything garlic, and I'm learning more and more about black garlic through people like Jenefer and how to use it.
Very cool.
Yes, we're having fun.
Well, thanks for our listeners for tuning in. And make sure before you go to show some love for our podcast by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. You can always text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. And thanks to our production team at Joy of Creation Production House, Dave, our production coordinator, and Haley, our audio engineer. We will be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining.